Hello Northworthy family, I'm Daniel James Annable, also known as Half Dan because of my incredible stature and my height. And this is
a Braggy. And what are we here for today?
We're here for an unboxing, and we're gonna be opening this massive package here, and God knows what could be inside. Hopefully it's something really exciting.
Now you don't know what's in this parcel.
Braggy does.
Yes, and this is to celebrate how many subscribers?
13,000
No,
subscribers.
12,000.
Oh, 12,000. Have we not hit 13,000 yet?
No, not yet. That video filmed last time was in advance. So this is for 12,000 subscribers, which we hit about a month ago.
Right.
Which I'm going to get out very, very soon, maybe this weekend. And you can start opening up the parcel.
Right, let's commence. Do you want to help me here, Andy?
I'll give you a knife.
I'll give you a SAS knife.
Give me the commando knife. I'll start this end.
Let's dig in.
And we've not really opened up many parcels on the channel recently. It's amazing how blunt this thing is.
I do like a good unboxing video.
I mean, last time it probably stabbed was probably some German dude.
Maybe.
You definitely got the sharper knife for this.
Yeah, I've got the good knife here. You could have this one if you want.
Now I bought this item. These items, it was £208 altogether, which I think is a bit of a bargain. And they came from a trader called the Merchant of Menace. But I don't know whether he made these items or whether he just got them in. And they've been made in Poland, so they're actually Polish in origin.
Get in there now.
Yes, try not to stab the box and what's inside of it.
Is it fragile?
No, not really, no. I wouldn't say it's fragile.
Don't give too many clues away.
You're doing a very good job there.
There we go.
Now I've just got 2 clubs just in case any Anglo-Normans come in the building.
No, we don't want any of them.
No.
We'll soon dispatch them.
Yeah, if you don't like I don't like Anglo-Normans too much.
No, we're not big fans.
I've become a bigger fan of William the Conqueror over the years because he was a good leader. But he did destroy the end of the Saxon Age. So I've had this parcel for about 6 weeks now. So I hope it's going to be okay. I'm not going to have any problems with what's inside of it.
Oh wow. What could be inside?
Well, you'd have to wait and find out.
Find out indeed.
Well, I think you might be able to guess from the length of it what could be inside.
I wouldn't like to guess. I'd like to.
Let's even get rid of this plastic wrapping. Put these clubs down here on the table. That's it, use your muscles, Dan. And as always, you always got to throw the parcel wrapping away randomly.
Do a bit more cutting here.
You be careful with your hands. I don't want to take you back to your mum and hand and say, look, Dan's back, but he's lost his hand.
Could be alright.
I'm not letting your dad do this, he'll hurt himself.
No. My dad's quite injury prone as a recent.
At the moment, yeah.
Ooh, what is that? Can we pull it out slowly? There we go, dispatched. We're almost there now, guys.
Yes. Well, you can kind of already see.
Can you guys
something.
guess what it's going to be as of just seeing the shape of it?
Yeah, just be careful when you cut into this because there's something in there which is a little bit delicate.
Okay, now we'll
So just make sure you don't stab it.
go slowly.
But you can already see some of it. I love it when you get new things for your collection.
Well, it's always good.
Can you own too many of these things? No!
No, of course not. Right. Oh, just a little glimpse of it there.
Yes, this could be
Just
the
show
thing
them
you
a-
could train with.
Maybe. Show them a little glimpse, see if I can get it now. We've seen the first
Hold it up.
little glimpse of
There we
it.
go.
Unraveling it.
And did you ever think you would appear for the 12,000 celebration and the next one at 13,000?
I started off as a fan of this channel, and I started off as somebody that's I met Andy because my mum and dad run the Abbey Inn in Darley Abbey. You guys should come check it out. A little promo there, plug that.
Yes, we'll have a channel meet down there
Yes,
and
could do
swamp
that.
the place. But don't bring your mobile phone.
No, mobile phones are banned in the Abbey. But I met Andy there, and since then I became a fan of the channel.
And what do you think of the channel?
I'm a very big fan of the channel. I think it's very interesting. I think it's good. I think history is great. And I think it's great to learn about these things. And it's even better to unbox these cool artifacts.
And do you find it amazing that I don't have scripts for my videos?
I do find that amazing because I can tell you right now, I'm pretty sure at least 99% of YouTubers these days absolutely script all of their videos. Even though it doesn't appear to be scripted, it absolutely is. But these videos are completely unscripted.
Yes, and that's what makes them very genuine, and it's the
Authentic.
more popular fashion these days to do that sort of filming. But the thing, we started doing that in 2017, really. So this is our 9th year, 9 years of not having many scripts. Sometimes the short scripts will have, short videos will have scripts, which I use artificial intelligence to help me write. And sometimes I may have keywords written on a board. But most of the time, I don't have scripts. The only time I need a script is if I got to remember like a name of a place for a story, where I'd have the name written down as what's the old handle.
Yeah, got to be careful there. We've almost got it open now, guys. You should be able to see what it is.
Give us that
But
light bulb.
I'll let Andy finish it off. I'll try and get the top end of it.
I'll sort this bit out. This is an eating knife for your dinner,
I'm sure you can cut a big steak with that.
So considering that I kind of already said to the guy that I'm happy with it and I've not opened it up, let's just try to get this end off.
End of the nursing
You
oil.
drop over.
Pull that bit off.
There's always one bit which is a bit more stuck than the others. There we go. Now, I wonder whether that could be silver or could be bronze.
Well, we're going to find out. You guys should definitely be able to tell what it is now, guys. Oh, look at that.
Yes, that could be the sword you use for combat. Does it ring? Well, it's got a bit of a ring to it. It's probably a sign it's been heavily used.
It looks like it's had some heavy usage. I hear, and there's a bit of maybe corrosion here.
Yeah, we always get that on the blade.
Yeah. And what is this here, Andy?
Well, you got what you call a bearded axe or a skegox in the Norse language.
Yeah, that looks. So why? Can you explain to me, Andy? Why is this pointed inwards like this?
But that's the beard. So if you look at it on the side of the face, it's the man. Here's the man, and here's his beard and his chin.
I see.
So that's why it's called a
And what
bearded
is
axe.
this axe used for?
Well, this is used for hooking shields and hooking spears and swords.
So could you hook a shield down and away from someone and then slash them with your sword?
Well, no. What you could do is you could hook the shield and open it up, and a man next door to you with a spear could then stab him through the stomach.
So it's a two-man job, you'd say.
Well, that's how shield walls work. You work in combination with who's next door to you, and or maybe you got an archer. You could pop up from behind and jump up and fire an arrow into the guy.
Yeah.
Or he may drop his shield, then he's open up for it, and it's got a strange bit of a shape to it. That's quite rectangular in the style, so it could probably do a bit of work on improving, but it's not bad. Yeah.
Well,
Then we have another very similar style of bearded axe. I don't really have any of those sort of shapes, and these were made in Poland. But yeah, that's quite interesting. I don't always like having a leather bit on here. I don't really have any leather on my axes, and I already own about 30 axes, but you can never have enough of these weapons. And then if you look here, look, Dan, you can see the marks here. So that's the marks from sword blows. So these have definitely been used in combat. Yeah, they're slightly rusty, but that's okay. And it's also got a nice protruding bit of wood. So the axe on this case has been pushed up and knocked down into it. And then
what have we got here, Andy?
so that there, or braggy, that there, what you call a sax. So that's a knife. So sax comes from the word of the Saxons, a knife people. and there's different ways to pronounce it. Some people will say Seax or Sax or Sax. Where we come from in Mercia, in the Midlands, and especially Derby, the E is more pronounced, so we can fundamentally say Seax. And then if you're going further down to Wessex, it will more be Sax. And then more Norse and more Northumbrian, it's Sax. So there's no fundamental correct way I'm saying it. And again, that's a nice blade. It's got a nice antler handle. You can see the tang at the end of it sticking out. So that's quite nice. And then let's just unravel these, look. So, do you unravel then?
Yeah. What's on here then?
So you've got two sheaths. You've got a sheath for the sword, and you've also got a sheath for the stacks. And this has got the typical triangular pommel, which denotes it's more Norwegian in style. And it also has a maker's mark here, look, which you can't quite see on camera, but it's like a fancy curvy M. So if I remember, I'll take a picture of it, include it in the video. If anybody knows the make of this sword, that'll be quite interesting. And you can tell it's got some use to it because it's a little bit rattly, which is normally an indication that it's been well used. But I don't really have a sword like this with this sort of a crossguard. And this is the pommel. So this pommel's there designed so it's got a balance and weight. So perhaps when we train you up, half Dan, Dan the Brave we could call you, or Dan the Tall, Dan the Mighty.
Also, we'll figure out a nickname.
You know, these could be the weapons you learn to use and fight with. And that's a very rustic sheath. Now, do you know the difference between a sheath and a scabbard?
I don't.
So
Braggy.
a scabbard is always solid in construction. So if this here was a scabbard, it would have a solid bit of wood in the middle. So this is a sheath because it's bendable. And this also has a very nice buckle. Looks like it could be pewter, could be silver, but I can't really tell. There's another nice buckle here for this. But I noticed here, look, we've got what you call it a strap end. Not a strap on, a strap end. And this is a figure, looks like it's Odin. Because if you see, look, he's only got one eye open.
I can see, yeah.
So we've got a strap end of Odin.
I see that, guys.
And it's quite funny because a few months back when I was in the Badminton Arms pub, which I doubt you've ever been to, because you don't like drinking beer, so fair enough, everybody's, you know, water's very good for you.
Do you think there's any Vikings out there that didn't like drinking?
Of course there would have
been.
been.
Do you think that all the
Yeah, but then again, drinking was in your culture because drinking was the most cleanest water available and drinking fluid.
True.
So that's why they made beer all the time. Perhaps you made like the light beer, more like shandy. I mean, a shandy on a nice day is really quite refreshing, not too alcoholic. But I was in Badminton Arms and I saw a man came in and I made a video about it, and he had a patch over his eye, looked like Odin. So that's quite a nice strap end. That's just a bit of decoration for the end of your bolt. And I wonder if we've got a strap end on this one. No, there's no strap end on this one then. So altogether, this was about £220. Now the sword is probably worth £220 in itself.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you're looking, you know, for the knife, you're probably looking 60 to 80 for the knife by the time I cleaned it up. And then you're looking about £60 for each axe. So there's about £400 worth of stuff here. And one of the reasons why I bought it, because it was such a good bargain, because it also gives me more things I can talk about on camera. And you also notice on the sword itself, it's got a bit of copper wire around it, which is quite unique as well.
We can compare this sword
when you listen
to
to
the
that
very
sword,
basic.
that's a Paul Binns, it rings. So that's like a £800 to £1,000 sword, where this is more the cheaper end market.
And as you can clearly tell by just pure looks alone.
And then this has a very wide fuller, or what you call the blood groove. And it's not designed so that when you stick it in somebody, it can make it easy to get out. It's not designed for that. But that's like the Rolls Royce of sword. This is more like your BMW.
So what is the point of this weirdly shaped handle?
Well, so if I'm sliding down, it catches the sword and stops your hand being chopped.
Right, that does make a lot of sense.
And it's also a part of the counterweight. So when you've got a more bigger pommel, if you demonstrate, you show that up, that demonstrates fundamentally it's the counterweight to the sword. And then if you turn it upside down and show the pommel, if you can, so it's sideways like this, do that.
I see.
And then this determines that this is more of an Anglo-Saxon style sword, because you look at it, it looks like an old-fashioned loaf of bread.
Absolutely.
But then again, as a Viking or a Norse warrior, you could be using a Frankish sword, you could be using a Anglo-Saxon sword, because they was highly sought after, and certainly the Anglo-Saxon swords were very well made, and the Frankish swords were said to be the best. But it also depends on the blacksmith themselves as well. Let's just compare the length of these two swords. That'd be interesting to see the length.
I think this one is longer, slightly.
No, I think they're probably about the same. I think this one's probably slightly longer, about a centimetre.
Yeah.
If I just did this like this. Yeah.
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 Really, so yeah. Just got nothing in it, is it really? No.
No, not much. 1 centimetre, that'll be it. And of course, again, the blunt. And then if you feel down the edge of this is smooth, but you feel this one, it's very heavily pitted.
Yeah.
So it probably designates that the society this belonged to, or the person belonged to, probably didn't have the regulations and good training officers, because that would be spotted if you was in, let's say, Regia Anglorum, which is a UK society.
Yeah.
You'd be told to file this down a bit more to make sure there's no sharp edges.
Should we cross our swords for the thumbnail?
Yes. That's, hold up an axe as well each. There we go. If you have it sideways, look, that's always better for the camera. So there you go.
Clash like this. There we go. There we go, perfect thumbnail.
So if you've enjoyed this video, and I hope we're not run out of battery and memory space, please do give it a like. That's to celebrate 12,000 subscribers, which I know we've already passed, but I've been meaning to film this for a while, and it felt quite appropriate to film it with my good friend here, Dan. And I think you're a fantastic guy, and I see a really good future for you, and you would make a really good Norse warrior.
Thank you so much.
As well as an Anglo-Saxon.
Absolutely.
You know, and
bit of everything.
yes.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot, guys.
Nice to meet you guys, and nice to be introduced to the Norse family.
Norseworthy.
Norseworthy
Sagas
family.
and stories.
Absolutely.
Don't know what that. I wonder if that's a loop for the axe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I reckon that's some kind of a fancy loop to put your axe in. Never seen that before. I don't really like this scabbard too much. It's a little bit rustic, but it will do for now.